Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I'm going to be taking a look at a fantastic 3-disc live recording from one of the most legendary and iconic bands in the history of music, led by one of the greatest musicians of all time. And this was a band that were a huge part of the jazz fusion movement back in the 1970s, alongside other bands such as Mother National Orchestra, Weather Report, The Headhunters, to name a few. And this band is loaded with star power, monster players, epic compositions, incredible musicianship. This band has it all and then some. And even after disbanding, this legendary ensemble continues to this day to be very highly influential and is regarded as one of the most important bands and considered by many to be the benchmark for jazz fusion. And this is a band that, quite frankly, needs no introduction whatsoever. I'm talking about, of course, the one and only Return to Forever. And this is their 3-disc live recording that came out in 2009 on the back of the 2008 reunion tour, Returns. So, as everyone knows, Return to Forever was formed in 1972 by Chick Corea, who was fresh from his stint of playing with Miles Davis. And the original incarnation of RTF was more of a Brazilian Latin outfit comprised of Chick Corea, Stanley Clarke, Flora Purim, Aitro Moreria, and Joe Farrell. And they were a lot more on the acoustic realm and very laid back. And then they would switch gears by adding guitarist Bill Connors to the mix and start to go more in a rock driven direction. And then enter a then 19-year-old Meola as he joined RTF to form what's many consider to be the classic lineup comprised of Chick Corea, Meola, Stanley Clarke, and Lenny White. And this incarnation of RTF would go on to record 3 epic albums: No Mystery, Where Have I Known You Before, and of course the legendary Romantic Warrior. And the classic lineup of RTF lasted from 1974 to 1977 before disbanding, with several members going on to forge very successful solo careers. Meola would go on to have a very celebrated career and is regarded as one of the greatest guitar players on the planet. Stanley Clarke also is regarded as one of the greatest bass players of all time. And Lenny White, a very highly respected drummer, would go on to become more of a world renowned producer. And Chick Corea, he would go on to venture in lots of different projects from trio to duo collaborations to classical, and of course the electric band and the acoustic band, and many more exciting endeavors. And the classic lineup of RTF would reunite in 1983, but sadly, it would be short lived as they only did a handful of shows and no new album came out of that reunion. And after many years of asking, pleading, begging, clamoring, the call was finally answered in 2008 as we saw the classic RTF lineup of Chick Corea, Aldo Meola, Stanley Clarke, and Lenny White reunite to do a reunion tour playing all of the classic material. And here we have is this tremendous 3-disc live recording from that tour. So we've got 2 discs and a Blu-ray disc as well, featuring a whole concert from that tour. And I was very lucky to see the classic RTF lineup when they came to London during the 2008 tour. And I can honestly tell you, one of the absolute best shows I have ever seen in my life. 4 legends: Chick Corea, Aldo Meola, Stanley Clarke, and Lenny White at the top of their game, delivered one of the greatest live performances of all time. And you could say that Return to Forever are better musicians now than they were in their heyday because they've accomplished so much since then and they have grown a lot as individuals. Al Di Meola, of course, is one of the greatest guitar players on the planet, and his guitar playing on Returns is just off the charts. Same with Stanley Clarke, one of the greatest all round bass players of all time, switching between acoustic bass and electric bass, and he's just popping those bass lines. Lenny White's an absolute powerhouse behind the drum kits, and he can play any style of music you can put in front of him. And the same can be said for Chick Corea. You know, he was already a respected musician back then, but since 1972 to 2008, Chick Corea has grown into one of the most important figures in the history of music, and he's just an amazing composer. And the same can be said for Dimiola, Clarke, and White. They're all great composers. So when you bring these four legends together, you know special things are going to happen. And this is a unbelievable reminder to everyone out there why Return to Forever are considered to be one of the greatest bands on the planet. So let's have a look, shall we? So we've got here a little poem and a little bit of the backstory about how the classic RTF lineup reunited. And we've got some liner notes from Russ Davis and a cool shot of the classic lineup in action, and some highlights from the tour as well. And another cool shot of the guys, and we've got the track listing as well, spread out on two discs. And we've got some little words from all four members of Return to Forever. Like I said, one of the absolute greatest live performances I have ever seen, and this 3 disc live recording documents that tour, and it's just unbelievable. So a lot of the tracks are all clocking in at, like 13 minutes, 11 minutes, 8 minutes, and the longest track is like 27 minutes long. And they're all kind of like different lengths. So what RTF have done here, they've taken all of their classic compositions, extended them, and just really take them to new heights of improvisation and fantastic musicianship. So on disc one, we've got Opening Prayer, Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy, Vulcan Worlds, Sorceress, Songs of the Pharaoh Kings, which is like the longest track of the entire 3 disc set, which is like 27 minutes long, which for me is probably the highlights of the entire um, live recording. And then we've got Al's solo, including Children's Song Part 3, which is a duet with Chick Corea, Passion, Grace and Fire, the iconic Mediterranean Sundance, Cafe 1930, and we've also got the legendary Spain, which is a duet with Chick Corea. And then we've got No Mystery. And then on disc 2, we've got Friendship, which is Chick solo, including Solar, Romantic Warrior, El Bayo di Negregro, which is Stanley Clarke's solo, Lineage, which is Lenny White's solo, and then we've also got Romantic Warrior and the epic Duel of the Jester and the Tyrant. And then we've got 2 bonus tracks here as well. We've got 500 Miles High, and we've also got a live performance of Romantic Warrior from the BBC Lifetime Achievement Award, which was presented to them by Sir George Martin. Tremendous stuff here. And when you think of legendary jazz fusion bands, Return to Forever are definitely at the top of that list. You cannot have a conversation about fusion music without mentioning RTF because they are as good as they get, and it doesn't get any better than the classic lineup of Chick Corea, Al Di Meola, Stanley Clarke, and Lenny White. So the standout tracks for me on disc one are Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy, Sorceress, Songs of the Pharaoh Kings, which probably could very well be the greatest live performance of the entire free disc edition, clocking in at 27 minutes long with all four musicians burning it up and delivering extended solos. Stanley Clarke, an absolute monster bass player, Al Di Meola, a ferocious guitar player, Lenny White, a powerhouse behind the drums, and Chick Corea, he's like a one-man keyboard orchestra. These guys really come to play, and no high-fiving your sister or signing autographs here. These guys mean serious business, and they're here to play, and it's really showcased on this track, Songs of the Pharaoh Kings. And No Mystery, which is another standout track for me as well. And then on disc two, Romantic Warrior and Duel of the Jester and the Tyrants, and El Bayo di Negregro, which is like a Stanley Clarke bass solo. Just tremendous stuff. It's just absolutely fantastic live performance. And the Blu-ray as well, which, shows the entire concert. It's just, you really got to see it to believe it. It's just excellent. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen any band do. So there you have it. Return to Forever returns. All four musicians delivered an amazing show for the ages, and I'm so glad I got to witness these legends together. You know, I wouldn't like to say who the standout guy was from RTF. I think all four of these musicians were equally as great as the other, so I wouldn't like to say who was the standout man. Everybody got their time to shine, and everyone showed the entire world why they are the masters of their respective instruments. So I wouldn't like to go out and say who stole the show because everyone was equally as good as the others. So I'm going to give credit to all four of these guys. They were just fantastic, and wow, this is an excellent live recording. If you're a fan of Return to Forever or you're a fan of jazz fusion, highly recommend you check this out, and you'll get to see four legends reunite after many years apart, and they don't miss a single beat. It was if they played just yesterday. That's how good Return to Forever are, and it's a true testament to the individuals of this classic lineup of RTF. So, Return to Forever would disband after 2008. Al Di Meola would resume his solo career. Clarke, and White would go out as an acoustic trio with guest musicians sitting in with them. And then Return to Forever would expand into a quintet with the addition of electric band guitarist Frank Gambale and violinist Jean-Luc Ponty, and they would embark on another tour. But sadly, we wouldn't see another reunion of the classic RTF lineup as Chick Corea would sadly pass away in 2021, bringing any hopes of a reunion with this classic lineup, to a halt. So we sadly wouldn't get to see any more. But the music lives on, and the spirits of Chick Corea and his legacy will live on forever. And this is a great reminder of just how amazing of a band leader Chick Corea was, what a great composer he was as well, but more importantly, how great musicians Di Meola, Clarke, and White were and still are, to this day as we speak. How fantastic, these guys were together. And, all due respect to the other lineups of RTF, they're all great in their own rights, but when you think of Return to Forever, you think of these guys, Chick Corea, Al Di Meola, Stanley Clarke, and Lenny White. It was definitely capturing lightning in a bottle, and it was just pure magic from the first notes that these guys played together. So there you have it. Return to Forever returns. Fantastic live performance from their 2008 reunion tour. three disc sets, two CDs, and a Blu ray. Tremendous stuff. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your favorite disc from Return to Forever Returns? Is it disc one, or is it disc two, or is the live performance on Blu ray? And what are your favorite tracks from disc one? Is it Opening Prayer, Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy, Vulcan Worlds, Sorceress, Song to the Pharaoh Kings, Al Solo, Children's Song, Passion, Grace and Fire, Mediterranean Sundance, or Cafe 1930, or The Legendary Spain, or No Mystery? Or do you have any favourite tracks on disc two? Friendship, Solar, Romantic Warrior, El Bayo de Negreo, Lineage, Romantic Warrior, Duel of the Jester and the Tyrant, or the bonus tracks 500 Miles High, or Romantic Warrior live performance from the BBC Lifetime Achievement Awards? Or do you just enjoy the Blu ray disc only? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourites. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.